There's a lot of options when it comes to wireless mics. You've got the Rode Wireless Go, the SmallRig W60, and a whole lot more. But this video is specifically about the DJI and the features that I think are best and why you should consider these mics, not just when buying wireless mics, but when buying mics in general. So this is the box the mics come in. You open the flap up on the front, take out this tab. Now this little box here actually has the travel pouch with the cable and the windshields for the mics inside it. It just protects everything from when you're not using it all. Underneath that box is the actual mic itself. Just take the box out and there we go. Everything's inside there, just like a set of AirPods. So you've got a mic on the left, a mic on the right, and then the receiver in the middle. Then behind that, you've got these, which are for adapting the receiver to phones. So yeah, there's not much to the unboxing. So let's start with the pros. Now my pros are in no particular order. So number one is the windshields. And it sounds like a small win, but it is a massive difference. I used to have the Rode Wireless Go mics, and they would just sort of sit on top, like they had teeth, but it wouldn't sit in very well. And I found that even if a small bit of wind got up on it, it would blow it clean off, so I was always worried that it was going to get knocked off. However, they have a twist and lock system, so you just push it on the top, twist it, and that's it. That is not going anywhere, and you'll find out later that that windshield actually has a massive impact. Number two is the magnetic clips. These magnetic clips on the back are amazing. So used to be with the Rode mics that you would fold your t-shirt, clip it on, and boom, you've got a creased up t-shirt. Nobody wants that. So what DJI said was, let's throw some magnets in there. One little magnet to go behind, and then the mic sits on front, and now your t-shirt doesn't get creased up, and you can put it anywhere. Anybody remember those little magnet things that you get when you went to the market or something? Like you'd throw them up in the... that one didn't work, but you'd throw them up in the air and then they'd clang together and make that noise. That's what that reminds me of. Now the third pro is what actually tipped me over the edge to buy these. Before I even knew what the mics actually sounded like, this feature, I was sold. Why had nobody done this before, I don't know. The AirPods style case is an absolute godsend, a genius move. I would constantly find that my Rode mics were constantly out of charge. Then I had to charge them up individually, so I had to wait until one were done to plug in the cable, and it was just a nightmare. So the fact that everything charges in here, not only does everything charge in here, but everything is kept safe. It's all in one place. You've got the indicators on the bottom to show you how much charge the case has, same as the AirPods. And then there's a screen on the receiver on the inside shows you how much charge each individual device has. And then extending on this, you take out the receiver, you take out a microphone, they automatically pair. So no longer do I have to worry about things not being charged. Everything is charged all the time. Now you don't have to just rely on the case charging all the devices. Say the case battery dies or whatever, you can charge everything inside through a USB-C cable on its own. So each individual device has a USB-C slot, and then the case itself has a USB slot on the back. So if you go with the case option, you get two mics, and this is genius. So basically both mics paired to the same receiver. So if you was to shoot an interview or a podcast where two people would need a microphone, you can either stick a microphone on each person that needs to talk, or the mics themselves have an external mic output. So if you did want to use a higher quality microphone, or you wanted to just run a lav up, then you can do that for each person. See, I'm actually booming a microphone right now, but I'm having to trail a big ass cable just to get that microphone to work. Whereas if I was using these, I could plug that microphone into this, stick it up there, and there'd be no giant cable. It's not just, oh, I've got fancy gear. It just actually makes your life easier. Now, pro number 5 is those little adapters that I showed you earlier. So the USB-C adapter. So you take off this little cold shoe mount on the bottom of the receiver, and then you slide in this little USB-C adapter, and I haven't got my phone. But then, boom, you can plug your microphone straight into your iPad or your iPhone with that and use the mic for TikTok. So if you're out interviewing people in the streets, or you just want to stand a little bit further away from the camera, you can do, and just use these with your iPhone. Mint. And then a bonus number 6, the screen. So the screen on this thing is where you dial in all the settings for the microphones, but I'm not bothered about that. What I actually am bothered about is the brightness of the screen. With the Rode Video Wireless Go mics, whatever they're called, the screen was diabolically dark. I couldn't see it. It was on top of the receiver, so if the camera was on a tripod high up, I couldn't actually see the levels. I don't know if I'd go as far as to call that one genius. it's more common sense. Now, there's plenty of other features about the microphones, but those are just my favorites. Now, let's start with what I don't like. 3, 2, 1. A little bit louder. Okay, can we get the mic a little bit closer to your mouth? Okay, that's too much. So the biggest thing that I don't like about these microphones is the audio quality. Now, I know when you're buying a microphone, that's why you buy a microphone, is you need better audio. Now, I do get that when you're not pointing a mic towards your mouth, you are going to pick up other stuff and the audio isn't going to be great, but this is just a tad less good than other mics when not pointing at your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not quite up there yet. Maybe the version 2 is better, because this is only the version 1. Now, the next thing that I don't like is the cable that it comes with. So when you plug the receiver into a camera, depending on which way it's facing, it's incredibly hard to actually get it to plug in. Let me show you. So if I put this receiver on top of this camera here, so normally if I'm going to vlog, I want to see the levels pointing towards me. That's generally how you'd want it. So that means that the cable points out of the right side, going over the SD card section of the camera. However, you'll notice that the mic input is on the left side of the camera. So getting this cable to stretch over is, on the EOS R, it's actually impossible. Like, you cannot physically do it without breaking something. So yeah, that cable's just a tad short for my liking. Like, test this out. Test the length of the cable on cameras. Why would you ship that? I don't know. So it's only those two things that I don't like about the mics. But before you go, oh, there's loads of pros and barely any cons, I should just get these mics. Let me tell you exactly what I was talking about with the audio quality. So let's do some audio test. So in terms of audio tests, these mics can sound very different depending on where they're pointing. If they're pointing directly at your mouth like this one is now, then it's going to sound pretty good. But most people aren't going to use these mics this way. Most people are going to stick them on their chest, and this is where the audio starts to become a little bit meh, like not quite up to the standard of other wireless mics, but it's still good enough. Now, it's not exactly a very windy day, so I can't really do any wind tests other than just blowing on the mic itself. So I'll do one where the mic has the dead cat on and one where the mic doesn't have the dead cat on. Here's the test with the dead cat. Here's the test without the dead cat. But as I mentioned earlier, these dead cats just sit straight on top, twist and lock into position. So there's no problem with having these on all the time. I don't think I'd ever really want to take them off. So having heard the audio, you can see that unless you're pointing it directly in front of your mouth, it's not amazing, but it still gets the job done. And it doesn't sound that bad. Like, it just as long as it gets the job done and it gets it done to a certain quality, even though that it's not amazing, it's still good enough. You know what I mean? So personally, I think that these microphones have a massive convenience factor. Like, they just make life so much easier, and if they can make my life a million times easier by always being charged, always being ready to go, all those convenience factors outweigh the little bit of loss in quality compared to other microphones. These are the best mics for me, and that's what we're all about on this channel. Convenient tech that just works. I shouldn't have to set up a million different things before I start using something. I want to open the box and it works. Now, personally, I think these are the best wireless mics. Now, obviously, there's a version 2 out now, which will be even better than these. There is a link in the description if you do want to pick up a set of mics. It really does help the channel out if you use those links. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you're going to pick up a pair. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff you already love to do. I will see you in the next one. See you.